It's a debate that's been going on for nearly 100 years, and it centers on marijuana, its legalization and safety. While dozens of states like Michigan have given medical cannabis the go-ahead, many people are adamantly against it. WSBT-22's DAYNE MARAE joins us, and DAYNE, people have some pretty strong positions on this.
Yeah, Jennifer, they do. Some medical professionals and scientists say many people benefit from the drug. Others say research proves there is no medical use for it.
It was more of a biological question than a medical question at that time.
For the past 4.5 years, IU South Bend science professor Thomas Clark has been studying the medical effects of marijuana.
So here's just a short list pulled pretty easily out of the literature of things that we know marijuana can help with.
His curiosity prompted him to sift through endless amounts of research, and what he found was clear. Marijuana can help people with chronic conditions.
They've found in lab studies that it actually stops or reverses the progression of Alzheimer's disease. It prevents things like obesity and diabetes mellitus. It kills cancer as it develops without harming cells around it.
Professor Clark says there are adverse effects such as memory issues, but he says those effects are minor compared to what the drugs in your medicine cabinet can do.
It's less toxic than aspirin and Tylenol.
Aspirin, Tylenol, those things, they don't cause schizophrenia. Marijuana does. You know, is that worth the trade-off for your kids? I don't think so.
Prosecutor Victor Fitz was an integral part of stopping the sale of medical marijuana in Cass County.
We've said take it elsewhere. We don't want it here.
He has done research of his own and says he opposes it because what medical professionals have found.
The Federal Drug Administration has studied this long and hard, and they've scheduled marijuana as a Class 1 drug. And that means a drug that has no medical use.
Fitz says 1 in 50 people in Michigan have a medical marijuana card. He says that's a lot more than who it was intended for, such as cancer patients and those nearing the end of life. He says it's hurting our communities and, most importantly, our children.
What happens when marijuana gets to our kids? When children begin using marijuana regularly at age 14, by the time they've turned the age 35, they will have irrevocably lost approximately 8 IQ points. Is that what we want for our kids?
He sees its damaging effects firsthand and believes pot is a gateway drug.
I'm talking reality. We know that most of the individuals in Cass County, the first drug they use is marijuana.
There's an association, there's not necessarily a causation.
Dr. David Crocker is the force behind Michigan Holistic Health in Kalamazoo. He says over the past 8 years, his practice has seen more than 10,000 patients.
The most common thing that we see is severe and chronic pain. We see nausea patients, HIV is common, cancer patients, glaucoma, Lou Gehrig's disease, severe and chronic nausea, seizure patients.
Dr. Crocker is careful to examine patients' medical history before providing a recommendation to the state for a medical marijuana card, but he maintains the drug is helping his patients.
A lot of the patients are extremely excited about the possibilities because they've been through a lot of different things without much success.
They'll find their physicians telling them, and these again are the vast majority who've gone to medical school and so forth, that that's not the best solution.
So in both of these cases, what we see is that marijuana just works better.
Professor Clark, who has no stake in the game, says while more research needs to be done, the decision shouldn't be left in the hands of the law.
Right now, the politicians are telling us what is and what isn't medicine. And I don't think that's right.
Whether you are for or against medical marijuana, the debate continues, possibly for the next 100 years.
It works. It's extremely safe.
It's just not good.
We're just starting to figure this out.
Medical marijuana is not legal in Indiana, but it is in Michigan. It's one of 29 states to allow the use of cannabis for medical purposes. Reporting live in the studio, DAYNE MARAE, WSBT-22 News.
It hurts to be sick. Like, it hurts really bad to be sick. And I don't like seeing other people go through that.
Emotional words from a medical marijuana user herself. 16-year-old Reagan Capps is suffering from cancer and has been for half of her life. After years of radiation and chemotherapy, her body began rejecting the treatments. And that's when she started using cannabis. We're going to hear more about how this drug has helped her cope. Our Fact Finder investigation continues tomorrow night at 6.